Well, Porter, let's just start with the obvious one here. Going against Baycott, what's that challenge like? How excited are you to see what John and Sam are able to do against him?
He's a tremendous scorer. He's experienced. He knows how to get angles. He's quick. He's got a quick spin move. He's got quick moves in there. Obviously, he's got length and touch. He's probably the best big man in the country. He's arguably he's one of them. But his quickness and length is you got to be ready for how quick he makes his moves, and he's got great touch.
It's gonna follow on there, not just his what he can do there, but the rebounding threat as well that he poses, and then what you see out of RJ Davis as well as guarding him, what that job's gonna be like.
So with Baycott, just like any really good offensive rebounder, is you got to get into the body. You can't play volleyball and just think you're just going to stand there and try to out jump them. We got to be physical with our box outs, and we got to get into the lower body and be fundamental with our box outs. And that's just an everyday thing. But if you're side by side and you're just not going to put a body on him, he's just got tremendous length. So, and then to your question about RJ, he's on a tear, 30, 26, 27, whatever, he's just by sheer volume, you just want to keep him under, you want him to be a lot of shots to get his points, and you want to wear him out. He's going to play 36, 38 minutes. We've got to continue to run different guys at him. Wear him out with our depth, and but we've got to make him work for everything. He moves tremendously without the ball. Like he'll hunt that three. He'll come flying by. If you lose vision on him, he's great at making you pay. If you lose vision on him, he'll get lost, and all of a sudden he's catching it and shooting three. He's just tremendous, one of the best scorers in college basketball. He's got great speed with the ball in the open court. He gets to the foul line. Great scorers know how to get to the foul line. He knows how to get to the foul line. And that's something that he does very well. We got to keep him off that foul line. We got to slow him down in transition, and we can't lose him. We can't lose him and let him get easy threes. He's got to work for everything. We got to make him work for everything.
We'll go James and Eli.
And Porter, the matchup in this game is incredible because you guys have figured out how to match up against everybody you've played. Your bigs combined are averaging about 20. So the matchup there is incredible. But if you could kind of dive in the entire matchup, I think it would be fascinating to hear what you have to say about it.
So they put the matchups with the bigs, obviously Sam and John, taking their turns, being physical and trying to, they got to win the battle of the catch with Baycott.
Okay.
They got to win there's two battles. I feel like I'm quoting Rick Majerus. The first battle is the catch. And that's the unsung battle. Everybody always talks about the battle after the catch, but the unsung battle is the first battle. That's the battle of the catch. Where is he catching? Is he catching it heels in the paint, heels in the line, or is he catching it 2 or 3 feet off the block? So that first one is going to be a battle on how hard we work with Baycott. They'll come down and he'll work really hard to get a post up in transition. So we've got to do our work early with Baycott. Do it early. Don't do it late. If you're late on getting your position and working your feet, he'll pin you. So we got to do our work early on that matchup. So I think Sam and John, they've been working a lot all year. So they got another challenge. The matchups with RJ is it's got to be collective. Like they said, a lot of ball screens. We got to be great in our ball screen defense. We can't let him just run wild in the ball screen. So our ball screen defense has been good, much better since the day one. And Sam has really improved in his ball screen defense. So that's a matchup. Obviously, Harrison Ingram is a key. I know everyone wants to right away talking about RJ Davis and Baycott, but Ingram's a really good player. He's a really good player. And, he's a guy that he's a strong wing. He's transferred from Stanford. So he's been a guy where he's been their leading scorer before at a high level. So he's a guy that We got to match his physicality. He's shooting the ball at a good percentage. Cormac Ryan, transfer from Notre Dame, a Corver, can't get him loose. He saw it going in a couple times against Kentucky. We've got to really match him up and not get him open looks. And then Kadu is their leading assist guy, really fast. He sprays the ball. We just can't let him. We've got to make sure we're staying home on the shooters when Kadu really smashes the paint off his dribble drive.
Thanks.
Porter, in some ways, it's like hard to believe it's only been 10 games, right, with this group. In a broader sense, like over the years, how long does it take each season to know your team, to know what you have, and to really deeply like understand a given group?
It's hard to quantify that question. Like it's just every team's different. But we try to do is we try to have this mantra of just getting better, and hopefully you're getting better, you know, and playing your best basketball January, February. I think we got a huge room for improvement. What I feel this team has done is they have really embraced trying to get better. They've really, I mean, really embraced playing, you know, everybody teaches spacing and well, I mean, we really teach spacing and we emphasize so many little things, and these guys embraced it. And they're, you know, we had a film session this morning just from our practice yesterday, and they see all the mistakes we made in practice yesterday. And they sometimes teams don't embrace it as much. And that starts with leadership. You know, for years, you'll say your coachability of your team is based on how coachable your best players are. And our best players are really coachable. Our best players, our first 8, our 8 starters are really coachable. And they know that they all got a job and they got a big role. So I feel like I've seen that early with this team. But I think the thing, Eli, that I see with this is that I just feel we have a big gap to improve, and so do they. And that's what I love about this team.
And just building off that, I mean, based on what is there to improve, that room to improve, what are you most excited to learn about this group? I don't know if it starts tomorrow night, but with games like this and everything you've got ahead, January, February.
I mean, you just how you know how efficient your defense is, how efficient your offense is. You know, it's hard to get all 8 guys playing well. Like Jalen Moore had a couple really good games, and all of a sudden Waldo's had a couple good games, and Latrey saw it going in last game. You know, Sam will be really good, then John. So you're not going to have all 8. I mean, that's your goal, but I just feel like we're getting all 8 contributing. I think all 8 contribute every game. You know, there's never a game I don't think that we're not getting any contributions from the bench. I think between John, Waldo, and Latrey, I mean, we're getting really good bench production. And sometimes that bench production doesn't show up in the box score. Some people think just sometimes bench production is only points. No, I mean, Waldo and Latrey are 2 of our best defenders. You know, they're the way they do things. When we watch the film after the game, like, God dang, look at what Waldo just did. Like those guys, we're getting a lot from those guys off the bench, and I you know this because I've said it for months or weeks. I use that term bench loosely. From our second shift of starters. From our second shift of starters, we're getting a lot.
Thanks, Porter.
Yep.
We have a time for probably a couple more questions. We'll go to Jesse to start.
Porter, you've mentioned transition and trying to do your work early and transition against them. I guess, yeah, I know you guys want to get in transition too and get some points that way. Maybe what's that balance between establishing the pace you want and getting opportunities in transition while also making sure they're not getting a bunch of points in transition? Maybe how do you handle that balance?
Well, we had a great example of playing a game like that with Arkansas. We knew they wanted to run. We knew they wanted to play up tempo. And we did too. We won the battle of transition points in that game by a pretty good margin. So we don't want to change what we're doing. But you want to be smart. What are we trying to get in transition? Layups, foul line, open threes. You don't want to take contested 2s. You don't want to turn it over. You don't want to take rushed contested 3s. But we want to take good 3s, layups, and get to that foul line. So we want to still pass it ahead and get to that. But if not, we go into our half court, we flow into our half court offense, which we've been really efficient per the numbers. So, but then we've been doing that, different presses to slow teams down. We did that with Arkansas. We're gonna keep being who we are, and just got to be better at it. We got to be. It challenges it, because now you're playing an extreme athletic, talented group and they do a great job with spacing. They're going to space you. They're going to run. That Carolina break for decades has been a staple of their traditions. And that Carolina break, man, you've got to slow that thing down.
Appreciate it, Porter.
We'll go Bob and James to close it out.
Porter, you joked after Saturday's game about playing Florida, all the baby blue that was in the stands on that night. Anyway, I don't know if curious is the right word, but how intrigued or curious are you about how your team responds to being in that type of environment?
It's, you got to embrace it. You got to communicate. Now you couldn't tell the ratio of Arkansas because of the same colors. So you couldn't tell, but it got loud with Arkansas, with that. So we know it's going to be loud. The good thing about it is, like, you're not coming off the bench with, we're playing one true freshman right now is Caden, and he's in that 8, though. Latrey's played in a million games. John has played in a million games. John's actually played in Carolina and done well. Jalen Moore has played in Carolina at Georgia Tech. Waldo has played in big atmospheres. Tega, Sam, and Los played at Kansas last year. So I think sometimes when you're a true freshman, sometimes these atmospheres, once you start doing it, you embrace it, man. That's what you want. You love college basketball like that. So the thing you got to be aware of is runs, when it's going loud. If they're on a 4-0 run, what do you want when another team's making a run? You want a good possession. You want to be solid with the ball. You don't need grand slams when they're on a 4-0 run. You want to get a single, a double, or something, a nice play when we're making runs and stop that run. Sometimes people think the only way to stop a run is a grand slam, and you don't. So that's where that's what we're gonna have to be aware of and I thought we did a great job of that with Arkansas. They started the second half on a run. The crowd was trying to get back into it. Boom, next thing you know, JBN scored 6 straight. Got fouled on a 3 and hit a 3, and we stopped that run. And that's what you're aware of in atmospheres like that is avoiding those big runs.
Appreciate it, Porter.
Yep.
Porter, North Carolina is the blue blood. I've always said Oklahoma is a better basketball program than people think. And so I'm just curious. I wish I could have been at your practice yesterday to see if your team has a little more bounce in their step. How much are they looking forward to playing this game and playing North Carolina?
I think there's no question this group is excited to compete. And that's the word I use, compete. Not just excited to play, but excited to compete against, one of the most storied programs in the country. I think someone told me yesterday, you guys would know more than me, that Oklahoma's never beaten North Carolina in basketball. That for us, that's not something we're telling the guys like, hey, let's do this. We're telling our guys, man, this is another team in our way right now of climbing where we want to go. And they have a confident respect for every opponent. And it's no different against Carolina. These guys are excited to compete against Carolina tomorrow on this stage.
Thanks, Porter.
Yep. You guys good? All right, guys. We'll see you.
Thanks, everybody.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.